Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, here to talk about how this 7-foot minimum wingspan build will change NBA 2K23. Now the build that you're going to see in today's video is my boy SK, who's lined up at the 2 on my team. You're going to see us in the 2v2 court for this gameplay. It works for 3s. I think Pro-Am will be really fun for this build too, to play at the 4 as well. And we'll get into it throughout the whole course of the video. So I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, for to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try to spend 2,000 likes. So, as you're going to see, my boy SK coming out here with the 7-footer minimum wingspan. I'm going to be struggling really early in this game. I have a 6'9" lined up on me. He has very good interior defense and block rating for playing 2v2 and lining up at the point guard position. To be honest with y'all, that's the whole point of me coming out here at the PG position, is to be able to baby or draw the big man down off the 2 on smaller defenders lined up on me. Kind of stuff like this, where I get the second defender of the big man dropping down to me, but I have a hard time doing stuff like that because the dude is 6'9", super tall, and it's just a tough matchup for me. So you're going to see SK kind of bailing me out this game on that build because I can't really go at this dude. I'm also just not playing to my best ability right here either. As you can see, that dunk was still plenty makeable. It's not an easy one to do by any means. But anyway, like I said, the whole point of this video, SK is going to be bailing me out on the offensive end because I'm going to be struggling quite a bit. But for the first part of this first gameplay, you're going to see me just actually doing the struggling part because I want to showcase how important it is that I actually had SK on this court, because you're going to see I try and go at him, try and get the contact dunk to pop off. It was a horrible take. I ended up in a bad situation. I didn't dribble enough to get myself open. I'm not a huge fan of 2v2 in the first part either. There's not a whole lot of room for me to dribble myself open. I know a lot of people think slashing is literally just as simple as run and dunk, like you can see right here on the catch and run. The catch and run is a whole different mechanic though. We can't even begin to talk about how stupid the catch and run is in this game. I still haven't made a video on it yet. I've talked about it in multiple different vids, but anyway, as you can see, SK right here with a little bit of a catch and run. He didn't get the speed boost off the catch and run like you would get if you preload it, but he still is a really nice fading build on this. You're going to see fading 3s, fading mid-ranges. He has like 89 mid-range with a 92 3-pointer. It's really crazy. I mean, this build can shoot from limitless, it can fade, all that stuff. Right here, you can see I'm trying to resort to the drop step. Can't even get that to go either. So again, we're going to need his help quite a bit in this game as far as carrying the load offensively, because I am going to have a hard time going at the 6'9" right here. Anyway, skipping to the possession where we actually get the ball back, you're going to see they go to the guard right here. They're going to just be kind of dribbling around a little bit. I'm playing pretty solid defense on this build too, I must say, and that's what I love about playing with SK's build, is he can still hang at the big man position. Right there you can see they go for the alley-oop. I get the ball back, and now just off that good pass that we have to SK right there, team take activates. And now you're going to see him running around the perimeter. That's a fading mid-range right there, but once again, the fading ability, the post ability of this build as well. It's not crazy on display, but that's what pairs with my build extremely well. He can work that deep range post stuff, whether it's the hops like that, the fades, whatever the case may be. He still has solid close shot rating to be able to do like the hooks and stuff as well. So he's a little bit of an outside, I would say, just deep post sort of dude. Just someone who can work the high post while I am paired with maybe crashing offensive rebounds, or I'm able to just be able to drive and kick myself into his mid-range fades or catch and shoot jump shots from the 3. But again, he can just come off these catches and just run and shoot. As you can see, it's crazy when people are trying to switch those guards off of me and put the big man on me. He can not only do a really good job at keeping these bigs away from switching onto me just because he can shoot from super far, but also can still take advantage of the guards being lined up on him, whether it's just to be able to fade when they're trying to pursue him coming off of me, or to just put him in the post and hit him with the post fades, the hops, the hooks, stuff like that as well. So right here, I do want to let you know, he is going to mistime the heck out of this jump shot right here. It's going to be a super late, super early, something like that. But the whole point and premise of this is that you can detect just off that last possession where they, like in this one, tried to switch the big onto me and the guard onto SK, and yet he's still, once again, like I said, faded on the guard. This possession right here coming up, I'm already knowing to try and keep this big man away from switching onto me because he looks like he wants to do that. So the point guard is looking like he's trying to go to SK. If it looks like I can beat these two to the paint right here, I'll do it. But this guy tries to stay way too long to try and patch up for this big man, because if he doesn't stay here, I'm going to probably be able to rim run the big man for a quick drop. And as you can see, because he stays too low, boom, big man's still helping, and now SK's wide open. Unfortunately, just shoots an early. It's really just his own mistake, obviously. But now, check this out. He gets the ball back off a steal and goes crazy with the hop back 3-pointer. Now, here's the deal, right? Agent 3 and Space Creator are both tier 1 for his build. That's what's so broken about this 7-footer right here. You can see I go for the contact dunk, not really, but get the dunk meter to end the game right there. But again, Agent 3 and Space Creator on tier 1 for this 7-footer is glitchy with 92 3-pointer. You get gold limitless range as well. So you have the same 3-pointer as a lot of these point guards or 6'8", 6'9" that go small wingspan as well. but on top of that, you're still mad tall. And again, Agent 3 being tier 1 allows you to run it on gold for only 3 badge points, and then Space Creator on Hall of Fame for only 4. So it's a super crazy thing. I think it's really convenient. He can run Mini Magician for only 1 point per badge level as well, because it's in tier 1, so you can also get that on Hall of Fame. It's a crazy build. We're here to showcase a second gameplay right after this one though, but again, SK kind of carried me in this one because we had a great matchup defensively with Jay right here being guarding me. Alright, so into the next gameplay, we have a 6'8" lineup at the point guard and a 7'1" at the big man. And you would think when you see that 7'1" that he's gonna be able to thrash SK around. Here's the deal. I have a great defensive build to surround SK, so even if he only has around 70 plus or like into your defense and block or rebounding, because this build does really just live in those high 70s when it comes to those ratings. Even if that's the case, I still have a great defensive build that can come in for the help, and I can really just shrink the floor a whole lot. Now right here, they already get that switch off rip. Now SK thinking post, I was thinking he could maybe even come off a screen. That speaks to the power of his build too, because he could really even still come off a screen from me and fade off it as well. It really is a super cool build, but as you can see, he goes to the post fade, and then we're able to just kind of work it from there. Now, here's the mistake that we made, and I want to explain it. You can see I still snagged the offensive rebound, but SK should probably stay more toward the wing right here, and I'm trying to pass it right away so we can keep him away. SK just not really paying super attention in this situation right here, because what we don't want to do is have him move toward the middle right here, where it allows this guy to get the switch down, and now I can't shoot, so SK can't really dime me either. So the more SK stays away from me and is toward this wing right here, it allows me to run in for an alley-oop off that, and it makes it so the big man has to stay attached to him to not let him shoot the ball on that wing right there. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, just bad execution from us. I still grab the offensive rebound and still get the putback. Really crazy though. I only have like 67 close shot and still got a 29% covered close shot to go in right there. So definitely nuts. I felt like I had him crabbed. I thought I could even got like a standing dunk off that, but either way, like I said, I'm staying wing and pushing it toward the paint. I can push it at the big man because he can't drop quickly enough, and if the guard doesn't stay attached to me long enough, I'll be able to get that. If he does stay attached for too long, I'll be able to literally just dot SK over there. And you can see Dex into the corner. They try and get that switch off, but they can't afford to do so. And once again, the 3-point reliability of this build and the fact that he's lined up at the big man position, not to mention, I really am gonna be super honest with you guys, it feels like you can resist jump shot contest like crazy. That's all you are in this game, yet he still has a 3-pointer to just be an elite shooter. So it's a crazy build right there. Once again, you can see I'm able to kind of just run to the hoop off it. I mean, I'm putting the pressure on the defense to have to stay at home on stuff like that, and as you can see, big man still wants to constantly help and drop down to the paint, and I'm able to get SK for wide open 3-pointers off gold limitless, great catch and shoot, all types of stuff like that. So right there, once again, I'm pushing him toward the paint. You're gonna see SK actually get a crazy speed boost out of this. Look at that. That's that gold quick first step on this build too. Unfortunately though, I thought he maybe was gonna fade it to the mid-range. I'm about to get a 3-second violation right there, and I felt like I had to go up with that. So a little bit unfortunate, but either way, I get the pluck steal, we get the ball back. I'm thinking about pushing it at the big man right here. You can see I get that behind the back, but now I got nothing going. We're able to hit SK on the wing. He unfortunately, however, shoots the late, as you can see. But the build, its ability of doing stuff like that, even if you will deal with the inconsistencies of whether you're a great player or not, and I think SK is a great player on this build, but obviously me showcasing someone other than myself, I just have to take whatever I can get because I'm not on the game with them 24/7 to record their gameplay or anything. So as I said, you will have a couple mistakes here and there when it comes to just shooting the ball, but also paired with my build of being a great elite defender and just being able to kind of play backseat on defense for his build, it's really not that big of a deal that he kind of lacks defense. And again, we can get the ball back at a pretty reliable rate right here. Once again, he gets me a little bit crab, boom, we get the nice block from behind. This big man wants to drop down and help. I got a wide open 3 for SK, and boom, green. And again, I have Hall of Fame dimer. Now here's where I want to talk about too. A lot of people may be like, okay, so here's a rebound, right? I know it's not an offensive rebound, but maybe for the people who are a little bit skeptical of whether you need to run post playmaker, I'm telling you right now, this right here, like I am in the painted area and pass out to SK right there. You're gonna see dimer pop up in this top right corner, and that's Hall of Fame dimer for that matter too. And I don't run post playmaker for that reason. I feel like there really is not that much of a situation that post playmaker ever even activates. Right there you can see SK go with a nice fade, and here's where I want to also talk about this, and again, not a great shot right there obviously, but this right here where he is like threatening that 3-point shot right there. all of this is keeping the big man super toward this perimeter where he can't even go for the rebounds. And not to mention, even if he does now at this point, I have great rebound position on these O boards, and I can always just lean toward him on these O boards instead of the guard, because the guard I'm not worried about competing with the boards. It's obviously always the big man. And sometimes if he's way up in his face and contesting a shot from SK, I'm able to just literally get a free board because then the big man is already still contesting him in the perimeter. But right there you can see guard contest him. We obviously don't want shots like that, but it is what it is. Stuff just happens sometimes. So anyway, just to showcase the end of this video, we'll let this all play out from here. We're going to showcase the defense, and then we'll get into the builder and show you actually all the ratings. So just stay tuned for that as well. But again, I can play some pretty solid defense on this. I do get drove on right there, and SK does have to drop. So unfortunately, you will still have possessions like that. I think you always should play by this logic though. I'm telling y'all, in a game where like people just constantly get quick drops, if you have to play their three-pointer super high, like for this guy right here, I have to respect his three-pointer, whereas he doesn't have to respect mine. So for him, he can just sit down in the paint and he'll still have a chance. Whereas for me, if I sit down in the paint, he's gonna just make a wide open three-pointer. So for me, and having to play and respect that three-pointer, I think it's always smarter to, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I think it's always smarter to force people to shoot, whether it's their teammate off catch and shoots or whether it's just them themselves and sagging off a little bit. But for him to rotate down every now and then and drop, I don't think is a bad idea at all. Right here you can see I push it at the big and into the paint once again, and right here we got SK wide open on the three again. Now I want to talk about this right here and talk about this guy right here. You're 6'8". Why do you feel like you have to switch the 7'1" big man onto me? And in the first place, even if you do switch the 7'1" big man onto me, I'm just giving the ball to the 7-footer to hit the post fades and the hooks and the hops and stuff like that over you. And then I can still rebound with this dude. So I don't know why everybody constantly wants to drop this 7-footer down to me in this 2v2 stuff. But I like it because I can just take advantage of it, and then boom, we get wide open three-point attempts for my boy that's got 92 three-pointer off Hall of Fame dimer. I even got gold floor general too, so he's got like really like 95 three-pointer, and it's crazy. And as you can see, we are streaking. This is the first time he really even ran twos this year. So anyway, me and SK, we go back a long way though. He's been always my like post stretch kind of guy that I like to play with. It's been his style, and he knows this has been my style for a while as well. So it pairs really well together. I'll just put it like that. But again, man, those dudes are like 6'8", 6'9". I don't know why they constantly try and switch bigs onto me when you're plenty tall enough to compete with me in the paint anyway. You could even still play for a little bit of bumps here and there. You don't have to just sit paint. You can easily still try and bump me and stop me from getting to my spot in the paint. But again, these dudes think they have to switch the 7-footer onto me or something like that, which does help, obviously. But again, it gives us those gaps in the defense to work with. So I'm not exploiting anything. I'm just taking what the defense gives us, and that right there is what the defense gives us. It's just wide open three-pointers because the big man keeps on trying to rotate down to me or get the switch off, and I know that I can take advantage of that. Also, what I was just showing a couple seconds ago was the like hard copy or rough draft, so to say, of this build, and here's what we actually revised it to and changed it to. So he ends up with 95 post control, which gives us gold quick first step. As you can see, you're not gonna be able to unlock Hall of Fame Unpluckable by any means because you don't have enough playmaking badges to unlock it. As you can see, yes, you can get it for 8 points, but you have to equip 10 points worth between tier 1 and tier 2 to even start unlocking badges in the tier 3. And when you core badge quick first step, it doesn't count. So just keep that in mind. You can't get Hall of Fame Unpluckable on this build. If you want to make a couple revisions yourself and actually get this more playmaking badges, as in get your ball handle and speed with the ball like super OD maxed or something like that, then maybe you're comfortable dropping, say, mid-range, or you want to drop something to do with your defense. I will tell you, perimeter defense is extremely cheap on this build. It doesn't cost very much overall points at all. As you can see, like obviously if you want to go with the max speed, you have to keep it at 48 perim-D. And at this point, honestly, as you can see, it's very, very cheap. It's not really costing anything toward the build, and I highly recommend for you to do it because if you have a low perim-D, you're going to get hit with those stuns on the perimeter off ball when you're trying to sag down and like play some help defense. You're also going to be at a complete liability as far as like guarding ball handlers on the 2v2, or if you ever decide to maybe pop out here with the 1v1 and play with this build, or for that matter, even on threes, just like if you get put in pick and pop situations and you have to guard point guards off it. So I don't recommend for you to have low perim-D. I feel like steal is also very good to have as well, and you're already kind of mediocre when it comes to blocking into your D and defensive rebounding ability. So I'm not a huge fan of dropping anything off defense. If you wanted to maybe drop some pass accuracy, I'm also not a fan of dropping that either. So personally, I think you should just plan to rock out with no unpluckable. You can still get this quick first step on gold, and for that matter as well, if you did want to make one revision on this build, I think if you go 82 mid-range, get this badge point, still keep Hall of Fame Midi Magician, you could go to 99 post control and get this Hall of Fame quick first step. So whichever is more important to you, or if you want to make different revisions yourself, feel free to. I will let you know though that even at this 95, And then with that 87 mid-range rating, it's still plenty fast. I mean, you guys saw that crazy post speed boost that he had. That's only with gold quick first step. And again, you can get this at a very easy rate. I mean, it's not a tier 3 badge or anything like that, so you can still equip it right here. And then anything other than that, I would say you'd probably just run things like maybe handles for days if you wanted, or just vice grip or something like that. Maybe some break starter, who knows? If you wanted to play some 3s or rec, you could definitely do that as well. I've seen it firsthand too. I've played with SK plenty on 2s, 3s, stuff like that. His rebounding is plenty capable. It's nothing elite by any means, don't get me wrong. I think you should pair this with another decent rebounding build, or for that matter, again, it really fits really well with my build. So if you play with an undersized inside big man or something like that, it's a really great combo. And again, it's just a fun build. You can even play like a 2-guard out here on this. I mean, you can fade, you can just go crazy off pick and pops, you can do all types of good off-ball movement. You still have post game on you, which is pretty fun as well, if we're being honest. And it's a very respectable post game. You're doing fades, hops, stuff like that. You're not really a crazy hook spammer. You're not doing anything to do with like crazy standing dunks. You can still perform plenty of standing dunks with this though. But again, me personally, I'm a huge fan of that mid-range rating being extremely high and very reliable. 87 mid-range to me is so reliable as far as just being able to get those midi fades. You know, you're still working in that mid-range as well when you're doing those post fades, post hops. So keep that in mind as well, because you really do want to have a reliable mid-range rating. I don't think 81 is going to cut it for you personally, but it obviously, like I said, will still get you the Hall of Fame mini magician. So it's all up to you what you want to do with revisions on this. I just wanted to give you guys a template and give you a couple ideas for stuff to work with. Now, if you don't want driving dunk either, because you can cut on this a little bit, it's just that it's tied to your vertical rating as well. So if you're comfortable with your vertical rating going down, you can also drop your driving dunk and standing dunk. As you can see, that's the only thing it's tied to, and it's a little bit unfortunate, I will say that much. But if you wanted to go with a nice little threshold for something doable, I think 50 driving dunk is actually kind of solid, and 45 can give you a couple packages. So if you only wanted to just like occasionally dunk the build, that is also one thing you can maybe take off this, because I know with this playstyle, you don't particularly need a lot of finishing badges. You probably just want Pro Touch, a little bit of post spin technician, maybe, and then back down Punisher. That's probably it. For that matter, you really don't. Maybe some Dream Shake. I guess that would be kind of cool for the fades and stuff too, since it also still helps with that. And to be realistic with you, I don't think it's a super great option personally if you're talking like trying to be on the quest for playmaking badges, because you're gonna have to remove a lot from your build. I'm talking like speed, excel, and excel is part of the most important thing with actually trying to like do something with this build, because speed with ball, in case you guys don't know, is for the elongated like dribbling down the court sort of deals where you're already like sprinting at full speed. Acceleration is for like a lot of the 2v2 1v1 court stuff where you're just coming from a standstill position and then just going fast. So if you pair this build with a great Hall of Fame quick first step and then good acceleration, you're gonna feel extremely fast with the ball in your hands. Now, if you wanted to give a little bit of playmaking to it, I think ball handle is probably the best one, because it will protect the ball a little bit better than obviously like speed with ball. I don't think it's extremely important for this. 75 pass accuracy still gets you that LeBron James pass style, which I am a huge fan of. And again, it's very key. Like, it's very key toward your playmaking badges. As you can see, it's really the only thing that's actually going to get you playmaking badges. But just keep in mind, your driving and standing dunk are both, like I said, tied to your vertical rating. So if you want anything more than 60 vertical or anything like that, as you can see, if I go up on it, it's going to force the standing and driving dunk up with it to 50. So just keep that in mind. I would love to have a low vertical rating on this build and just be more of a box out guy, but at the same time, you probably want a pretty solid vertical rating just to help you sometimes with like getting those chase down blocks or rebounds or just shot blocking in general. But again, I wanted to give you guys a lot of different templates for this and just show you a couple different situations. So if you wanted to have that 99 post control for Hall of Fame quick first step while still having a little bit of ball handle and then still having elite acceleration as well, you can maybe revise it into something like this. I know some people are going to see this build too, and they're going to be so disgruntled with it. They're going to be like, what a trash build. You got like 10 playmaking, only 13 finishing, 16 defense. The power of this build is in these two ratings right here and your height. Your height and shooting ability, it makes for a freaky combo, and you can still hold your own in the paint. You can still hold your own in the perimeter. It's a very, very good build. It doesn't look like it on the surface. And again, you're extremely fast for your height too. And for you to play like a post scorer at this speed is really, really glitchy too. And again, the really cool thing about this, while you may not have very elite ball handle, is the fact that you will have Hall of Fame quick first step at 7 feet tall with 74 acceleration still. It's a very, very good build, but people are going to sleep on it. I know some people are going to be hating on it in the comments, talking about how garbage it is, but again, I think the gameplay can also speak for itself a little bit, and the shooting ability speaks for itself too. Now, I show spotted precision on this, but low-key, limitless range is kind of glitchy. And really, if you wanted to pair it with a post takeover primary, you could actually do something like this. This is what SK was rocking in the video. He has post shot daggers in the primary, and then he's got limitless range in the secondary, because I think the convenience sake of this is, as a post scorer, if you activate your single takeover, you're going to be trying to take over the game. So that means you're going to be getting the ball in your hands. You're going to be like actually working through the post no matter what court you're on. 2s, 3s, pro-am, whatever the case may be. You have takeover, it's going to run through you. However, if team takeover gets activated, it's a little bit more convenient to have a sharp takeover, because you're probably not going to be getting involved extremely. Like, I mean, obviously when team take is activated, the point guard is probably running the show, or your dude at the 1 when you play 2v2 is probably running the show. It obviously can vary based on how you play 2s. If you're the primary scorer, I absolutely just feel free to do this, but at the same time, I don't think it's worth it to really double up on a post takeover anyway. So I think this is a really good layout right here. You're gonna have a lot of fun with this too, man. Like I said, you literally, as I said, get gold limitless range. You can see Hall of Fame corner specialist. If you got one more 3-pointer, you can get catch and shoot on Hall of Fame too. But as you can see, gold Deadeye, gold blinders. You have Hall of Fame green machine. You have Hall of Fame even volume shooter if you wanted to as well. Mini magician, agent 3, space creator, which again, don't sleep on either. But I mean, all of these at a super cheap rate for all the really good ones that you want to run too, like agent 3, mini magician, and space creator. And then even, like I said, green machine, blinders, pretty decently cheap in tier 2. And then we have things like Deadeye and limitless range that you can go ahead and run as well. If you're talking the extra badge points to put on this build, you could also make that debate as well. If you want to make this build with really good playmaking badges, aka let's just make a quick little revision. So if you end up with 14 for your playmaking badge count, you could run something like quick first step on Hall of Fame, which is 6 points. Then you have to pair it with at least 4 more between tier 1 and tier 2. So you could probably run like handles, clamp breaker, and then like silver floor general. There's your 10. Now if you added those plus 4 on the playmaking, you'd be able to get Hall of Fame unpluckable, and then core badge Hall of Fame unpluckable, or quick first step, whichever is easier to do, and you'll get refunded 8 or 6 badge points in playmaking, which again, some people would maybe see like the 14 on the count, right? And you'd be like, oh, that's not even that cool, because like it's not that many playmaking badges. But really deep down, you have 22 playmaking, because you can core badge Hall of Fame unpluckable at that rate, which is a tier 3. And again, that's 22 badge points in the playmaking category, even though it only shows 14. So feel free to just go about this build however you would like to, whether it's with the super high post control, whether you want more standing dunk, driving dunk, whether you're not confident in this close shot ability as far as hitting hooks, whether you want more mid-range or you want less playmaking, you don't really care about unpluckable. I wanted to give you guys plenty of different templates that you can work with right here, because this build has so many different options for things that you can try and do and pursue with it. Most times though, when you make this, it's probably just going to be sharp and post takeover. Maybe if you go more involved in the defense, that's possible. Maybe if you had a super high mid-range and not such a high 3-pointer, you get shot creator takeover, but I don't think that's worth it. I think you absolutely want to have that 92 3-pointer. But anyway, this exact build right here, in my opinion, could be the coolest way to run this as far as a fun style. You're going to be able to get those plus 4s on the playmaking and get that Hall of Fame unpluckable and quick first step. That's such a cool thing to have on a super tall build like this. So just keep that in mind. Then you could still have a lot of shooting badges. It's nothing super crazy like the other one was, but obviously it's not that huge of a hit. And you still have 99 post control. That's a really crazy glitchy thing to have. And again, you're not going to lose the ball. Hall of Fame unpluckable with 99 post control, and you still have 65 ball handle as well. That's fire, man. That's so fire. So obviously, do not expect this build to be an elite defender, but you're a versatile defender for that matter. You're not a complete liability on Prim D, you're not a complete liability on Interior D, and you can still somewhat rebound the ball. You're not going to be running rebound chaser, just keep that in mind. I think for the most part, you're running a lot of these tier 2s and tier 1s, and Silver Box Out Beast can still put in a lot of work for you as well. But what I think is really going to carry you on defense is your height combined with your speed. 78 speed at 7 foot is plenty good, and I think this is a really reliable rate. So anyway, that's all for the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all the good stuff, and like always, try to 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put SK or put post in the comments, show support you made all the way through. But anyway, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and stay tuned for more. I think what we're going to do for the next couple of days is do the top 3s. So like, I'm sure a lot of you guys who have been with the channel are a little bit familiar with this. Top 3 point guards in 2K23, top 3 centers, top 3 like lockdowns and stuff like that. So we'll probably disperse some of that content now that I have a really good idea for what the builds are and what the true meta of the game or best builds are, so to say. I think you're going to see a lot of 6'8" involved in this though, and which is why I wanted to maybe hold off on it. And who knows, maybe that alone will make me not want to do those videos because it's pretty self-explanatory. But I think there's cool builds like this kind of hidden in the game that can still feature in as a quote-unquote best big man, and maybe one of the top 3, maybe one of the top 5. I have no idea, but all I'm saying is I think there's a lot more variety to this game than I think people will give it credit for, because there's a lot of 6'8s, 6'7s, and 6'9s. It's really very simple, but there's a lot of different ways to create them as well. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed. And other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.